shining cloud, the Father's voice is heard. This is my beloved Son. Listen to him. Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ, King of endless glory.
And with your spirit.
The Holy Gospel according to Mark.
Glory to you, Lord.
Jesus took Peter, James, and John and led them up a high mountain apart by themselves. And he was transfigured before them, and his clothes became dazzling white, such as no fuller on earth could bleach them. Then Elijah appeared to them along with Moses, and they were conversing with Jesus. Then Peter said to Jesus in reply, "Rabbi, it is good that we are here. Let us make 3 tents. One for you, one for Moses, and one for Elijah." He hardly knew what to say. They were so terrified. Then a cloud came, casting a shadow over them. From the cloud came a voice, "This is my beloved Son. Listen to him." Suddenly, looking around, they no longer saw anyone but Jesus alone with them. As they were coming down from the mountain, he charged them not to relate what they had seen to anyone, except when the Son of Man had risen from the dead. So they kept the matter to themselves, questioning what rising from the dead meant. The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ.
In lieu of a gospel this morning, Ann Richmond from the Stevens Ministry will give a brief reflection and then show a video. Ann?
Good morning. You may remember last May and July, Melanie, Joyce, and myself talked to you about a Stephen Ministry training program that we had planned for September. Today, we want to give you a great news, wonderful update. 21 members of our parish have completed our very comprehensive program and are now ready to serve us as Stephen ministers. So we want to express our gratitude to Father Santos and the deacons for their encouragement and support of the program. The next step, we need your help. At one time or another, every one of us are in need of some extra support. Life has its difficult moments that we know just by having breath in our body. So we ask you, think about your life and the lives of the people around you. Could you or someone you know benefit from the care of a Stephen minister? And we have a wonderful available group right now. And sometimes people need support, but we don't have any available Stephen ministers. So we just want to alert you that now is the hour to really think seriously about it. So please watch the following 2 short videos. They're great examples of how valuable support from a Stephen minister can be.
After having had a Stephen minister, my life is unbelievably different. I think the biggest way it's different is that I feel connected with God in a way that I never felt before. And I really felt like, I was doing well, but I didn't realize what a barrier my issues were. Partially because I didn't want to share them with another person. And not only did I not want to share them with another person, I guess I didn't want to share them with God. Even if you know intellectually that God is there, sometimes it feels like it doesn't matter because there's no one there to help you. And I think Stephen Ministry is a way to actually see help right in front of you. And so receiving care from her began the process of me being able to receive care from God. So to have that one person who had signed on to listen and not to judge me, it felt safer than burdening friends who could run, it might be too much, or family members who might feel guilty that it was their fault. So my Stephen minister, she's just such a sweet lady. She's so sweet, and she's extremely caring, and everything seems to sort of get calm when she speaks, because I think there's a lot of love in her voice, in our interactions. There's a lot of love there. When I felt like maybe God couldn't do something in my situation, she reminded me that he could. And when I felt unlovable and that maybe God was powerful enough, but I was too weak, she kept believing. So at least one of us had faith, even though a lot of times it wasn't me. There was always faith for my situation present there. Stephen Ministry to me means not having to be alone. I don't think I really knew how to trust people before Stephen Ministry. So that was an opportunity to learn that. I know what I was like before, and I know what I'm like after, and I know there was Stephen Ministry in between, and so I know that made a difference. It made a huge difference.
Wife announced that she would be leaving our marriage and would be filing for divorce. And I had no one to turn to. Everybody was in shock, as I was a couple days after this announcement. And as I sat in the pew by myself with a church full of people, the one slide that I had seen 1,000 times before came up, and that was the slide about Stephen Ministry. That morning, for me, for some reason, it was like it was speaking right at me. I think what my Stephen minister, Larry, helped me with the most was a consistent, persistent effort on being there and showing up. Larry walked with me for literally the next 2 years through a very painful separation, through the divorce filing, through the divorce. Larry refused. Larry refused to give up on me. And in a little over 2 years' time of meeting at 8 a.m.s, he would show up and be there for me. And so I think, he did a tremendous job in just making sure that hour or so we were together, he was completely devoted to just listening to me, and he would not speak a whole lot, as I recall, but would just ask questions or would put things out, for discussion, and would just let me ramble, which I can do, and he was everything I ever thought a loving God would be, by always being open, by always being honest. Besides himself, God was there, standing right next to me. All I needed to do was reach out for him. And just as Larry would be there as we prayed, God and Jesus Christ were there. And my Stephen minister was every aspect of Jesus Christ to me, and is to this day. The Stephen minister and the Stephen ministry program have changed my life. They have enabled me to commit myself to bettering my own life. The Stephen Ministry program and my Stephen Ministry in particular have shown me that God does care, and that God's shoulders are broad and it's okay to be mad at God, and that God can take it. And the Stephen minister, and his role in that was to let that come out so that I could get it out and then be open to the grace and the mercy of Jesus Christ. And the Stephen minister and the Stephen ministry program not only saved my life, but changed my life. And I'll forever be grateful to having had a Stephen minister.
You know, sometimes we pray and pray for an answer and support. And God always hears our prayers and sends us the support we need. And sometimes they're in the form of an angel in the flesh. So think about it. It could be a Stephen minister. That could be the angel that shows up and helps you discern what God's plan is for you. The ushers will now pass around a little flyer outlining the services of the Stephen ministry. We ask that you just take one per family. And also we have our contact information on the back of this flyer. And you may want to just call one of us and talk to us about what's going on. And we can let you know if it's appropriate to have a Stephen minister. And it doesn't have to be a major life crisis. It can be a time of transition, a time of uncertainty. So just be open and just listen to the promptings of the Spirit within you. Maybe I could use some support. The other thing is we have an information table set up in the narthex, and we'd love to have you stop by, say hello, and again, just kind of, talk about what's going on, or we can call you up and talk about it as well. So thanks for listening.